I'm going to switch there. Does that help? I hope. Let's see. I'm getting something on the meter over here, so hopefully it catches up here. I'll start all over. Let me know in the comments there. I see Mr. Blue Roads. Yeah, okay. He always calls them. Let me know in the compliments. But anyway, yeah. So I haven't been around for about a year. I think my last video was in July of last year, and it was right as I had gone on sabbatical for 4 months where I work and got to study some really kick-ass stuff out in Boston. I wound up, that was all done in, that all wrapped up in like August, and then right after that we started planning for our move, so I started traveling back and forth. I'm out in Colorado now, so I moved from Kansas City out to Colorado, which was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. So it was a lot of work prepping. I do big projects at work. I kicked out right before I moved, or no, that was right before sabbatical. I kicked out two $20 million projects. So that gives you an idea of the scale that I work at. So yeah. Yeah, a lot going on. Then, we had to come out to Colorado a handful of times, find a place to live and that sort of thing. We didn't find a house right away. It was looking for apartments and making sure that everything was right. And we moved out here in April into an apartment, and we lived in there for, I could become a grower. We lived in an apartment for about 3 months and finally got a house. So that was pretty awesome. Then it was the big move. We moved in... when did we move? In June. And so we've been here July and then part of August. And I've been working my tail off trying to get this garage from where it was to where it is now, I guess is what I would say. So I do have, I don't know, yeah, I think I could, yeah, maybe not. I think I might be able to share my screen. And if I can, I'll bring up a drawing of the garage and what it's going to be. But I did kind of want to show everybody around and let you know that I hadn't died. Hang on, I'm trying to use a program and talk at the same time, and that always doesn't work out for me. So let's see. You know what? It's not. Yeah. You know what? I can bring the camera over here. So we're gonna start there. Anyway, so I'm gonna just grab the camera and do a quick show. I've got a long cord on this guy, but sorry for the shaky cam. But I've been working. I just got done tonight on the butcher block top here. So been, big steel frame on this guy, and then I had to build all of this big square thing up here. It houses, you can see, if we look, there's a vacuum line kind of back in the corner there, and electrical power there, which we had like literally no power in the garage. My air lines are below that. And then actually underneath you can see vacuum lines, air lines, and electrical that come out. I just got this table saw yesterday and started to use it. My old table saw was over there and it died. But we got power out here. We got the big bandsaw hooked up finally. And when I moved in, all of the walls were the same as the ceiling here. They were just kind of like drywall taped, or fire taped. And so I had mud and finish all the walls. Built this big steel contraption. I've been painting through here. And where I've got fire tape on this side, we're going to brick it. I'm working with a company here in Denver, Colorado that makes bricks called General Shale. And they're gonna throw some brick at me, and we're going to cover this with brick and make it look like a really cool YouTube studio. This is my welding table. So you can see I've run some electrical under here, and what a pain in the rear. There's an air line under there, and then there's going to be vacuum lines under there as well. So starting to get it all working. Actually, this weekend was the first weekend where I could use my CNC machine, I could use the table saw, and all the power worked. But one of the big other pieces was out here, property is a heck of a lot more expensive, to the tune of about twice as much as it was in Kansas City. And we couldn't afford to get a bigger garage, which is what I really, really wanted, was like a 3-car garage. But you know how that goes. You just can't always afford what you want. So I don't know if we can see it over there, but I bought a car lift, and the car lift was about $2,000 used on Craigslist. It's a nice one. It's a made in America, and that was the trade-off. It was about $30,000 for the 3-car garage upgrade, something like that. And yeah, so $30,000 versus $2,000. So that car lift, at some point, I'm going to make wheels for the base of it, and it'll be able to turn sideways in the back of the garage so that my wife can pull in. Oh, the other thing I didn't point out, I raised the garage door, so if you can see all the garage door tracks, I had to take them up to like 11 feet. The ceiling's at 12 feet in here, which is super nice. But I had to take the tracks way up so that when I put the car on the lift, I would have enough clearance and the car wouldn't be hitting the roof of the garage. So I am going to take a peek and see what's going on in the chat. I see, gosh, everybody's on here, dude. This is awesome. I'm not going to go through everybody's name, but it's awesome to see everybody. Chad from Man Crafting, Tom, I am going to go through everybody's names. Craig Durbin. How's it going, guys? I'm going to see if I can scroll back through. Sorry, this is a live chat. So, yes, that is a Karmann Ghia. I have a ton of videos on YouTube about the restoration. Jeff from Practical Renaissance. How's it going, man? Holy cow, Messy Laura. I haven't seen that name in forever. We talked a long time ago before I painted the Ghia, and you gave me some really, really great advice. So how big is my workbench on my right shoulder? This is my right shoulder. So this is an 8-foot outfeed table, and it's all butcher block. It's just cheap pine. And so yeah, I just took 8-foot 2x4s, and I jointed one side of them. And I just got it done tonight, which was really sweet. Jointed one side of them and then ran it through the table saw, so they're 2 1/4 inches thick. So they're a lot thinner than a 2x4. Then I just kind of left an inch exposed on the side. And my thought is it was cheap enough and easy enough to build. If I wreck it, it's okay. And I can just replace the boards if I need to. But it was a trick getting it all to fit in there and squeeze. I actually made it in 2 halves, then kind of tipped them up like a drawbridge, and then glued the center joint and then brought them down and beat the bejesus out of it. Screwed them from the bottom so that everything would be nice and tight. I'm really super thrilled with how it came out and can't wait to use it. So let's see. I'm going to read through. Yeah, hey, Matt from Shut Your Face Garage. Check it out. I've still got, yeah, this is going up on the wall somewhere. The Shut Your Face Garage sticker. This was actually for the guy asking about the Ghia. This was actually the rocker panel from the Ghia. I keep this around to remind me how much work it was to restore that car. So there's a bunch of things that are going to go up on the walls, and oh, sorry, a bunch of things that are going up on the walls from the old shop. You can see. Oh yeah, I didn't show over that way, but I've got my old that I built in the old shop for screws and hardware and all that kind of stuff. It's over there, all that metal work that I did for the benches and all that kind of stuff at one point in time. It's an absolute mess right now, so I apologize. But this big tool stand is going to get a top on it. It'll get welded into this after I brick the walls. And then all these tools that are on the floor over here kind of get shoved into it. And yeah, I have a fun story, the table saw. So that's a Delta Unisaw back there, which is a sweet ass saw. I picked it up yesterday, and let's see, just trying to catch up on the chats here, guys. But I picked up the table saw yesterday, which was sweet, and the guy held up the electrical plug and said, yeah, it's wired for 110 30 amp, and I grew up the son of an electrician. I looked at it, and I didn't want to argue with him, but I was like, no, that's a 220 volt plug. And it looks like a 15 amp 220 volt plug, but we're not going to say anything. I thought, God, I hope that guy never plugged the saw in. And he actually bought it and never ever used it. So I got it back home, already had a 220 volt plug that I wired last week or the week before for the big band saw. Plugged it in, just fired up beautifully, and wound up doing all the work, all the sawing work on this table yesterday. So that thing is a champ. It's amazing. When I get a little router lift, you can see there's a hole in the top over here. Going to get a router lift for that. I'm not sure. Man, I'm in the debate of what is it, the Woodpeckers versus the Jessam. I think those are the two big companies, and gonna go with one of them. I don't know which one yet, so it should be exciting. I am gonna pull this file up so we can see. This should work okay. But I did a little SketchUp model of the garage. You know, being the architect that I am, you know, you got to design it before you can build it, and it'll pull up here in just a second. I'm gonna read some chat. Dude, it's good to see everybody again. I really do. I miss being on YouTube. Oh God, one other thing. Right when we moved in, I had 2 weeks of overlap between when we had to be out of the apartment and when we got the garage, and so I didn't have to move my tools immediately. In fact, I couldn't. I had to hire somebody to help me move them because some of the things I just flat out couldn't lift. But I wound up doing an epoxy floor in here. This is a Rust-Oleum. I can't remember what they call it. It's their nicer product. It's not stone hard. It's something like that. Rock hard, rock solid, Rust-Oleum rock solid, and did the epoxy floor. And man, it's just been fantastic so far. But back to moving tools. Yeah, who doesn't 3D model their shop? But back to moving tools, I had a couple guys help me because I am out here in Colorado alone. I don't have any relatives, really any friends or anything out here. And I knew this garage is actually a little smaller than our old garage. I knew I wouldn't have room for my air compressor and my dust collection in here. So I needed them moved into the basement. Lord knows I can't move an air compressor into the basement myself. So they moved the air compressor down there for me and helped me with some other big items. But since my air compressor's in the basement, I'll turn it on and you can hear how quiet this is up here. The air compressor is on right now. So this is just going to be a dream working out here with it that quiet when I'm working on big stuff. So let's see, what's up? Hey. Yeah, no doubt. There is a ton of kick-ass people hanging out in here. These are the old YouTube Garage Gang folk. So I'm going to just point this thing at the screen. So this is the shop modeled up, and it's actually it's coming out just the way I had intended it, which is awesome. You know, if you look, there's the bandsaw, there's the lift, and let's see. I think I've got some scenes set up so it's easier. Whoa, that was fast. But yeah, I'm trying to get you in the thing. But so yeah, so we're gonna have brick around these walls. I'm gonna do a little bit of wood on these walls. You can see I'm gonna back up because I don't think we got to see that. My CNC machine with the video screen there, and the welding table is over to the side. So that's how it's all gonna look. Little dust collector, dust maker. This is a belt sander, so an 18-inch belt sander. These are all, if you remember my old, there we go. The hardware rack that I made. So it'll all fit in there pretty sweet. This table saw is a little bit wonky because I just got a new one. But then Mark Furtado, what is his channel? Shoot, he's the old Camaro guy. I can never remember things when I'm on the spot. But Mark sent me this really kick-ass, I think I may have shown this on some videos before, this really awesome coat rack. And it's got old steam handles, and the wood that it's made out of was actually the church that the author of Moby Dick was inspired to write the story Moby Dick. And so this is going to go on the wall. I'll point it back out again. Sorry for all the shaky cam, guys. But this will go on the wall back here, and I'll be able to hang my welding jacket, my welding helmet, and some other stuff on it. So I'm really excited to be able to get to use that as well. So yeah, Gary Ramsey actually sent me a message yesterday and said, why don't you do a Saturday morning chat and show us around the shop and the progress. And I figured we were in a good spot now that that I could actually had something to show off. I've been trying to get this bench done for a long time, and with it just piled with stuff, it's kind of hard to see the big picture, but it's slowly coming together, guys, and I am really looking forward to getting a few videos done and getting some more stuff out on YouTube, if nothing else, just to say hey to everybody. So just going to take one kind of check. Can you please do a welding tutorial in a few minutes? Gary sucks. He's a punk. Yes, of course. I can absolutely do a welding tutorial. My question is, what do you want to know about welding? I don't know everything there is to know, but I am fairly good with sheet metal. So, yeah, just back in the old comments there, let me know what kind of welding tutorial you want. It may be something that we can just do here in 10 seconds, talking through it. Yeah, I see a lot of people move their compressor out. I mean, I can't believe how quiet it is in here. It is a little bit noisy in the garage. My wife's already complained about it, but I think I'm going to maybe do a little bit of insulation or something like that around the compressor just to quiet it down, because it does sit right next to the furnace, and so it rattles through all the ductwork, but I think I can insulate that off. So let's see. Subbed about a year ago. I had to see why I subbed. Post more. Absolutely, I will be posting more. I have a handful of videos in the can. It's just been so busy, and I hate to use that excuse because everybody gets busy, but literally moving across the country kind of shook my world, and then we moved twice, had to build the shop twice. On top of that, the guitar tools that I'm making, and some people know I have Skyscraper Guitars channel. Basic welds, please. I'm trying to learn because I'm maybe a machinist while in college. Okay. Cool. I'll give you just 10 seconds of it. But well, I had to set up my shop twice. I set up a shop in my apartment to make guitar tools. I can't keep up. They're selling on Amazon. They're selling on my website, and literally I can't make them fast enough to keep up. So time that I should have been spending on the garage and getting videos done was spent making tools and doing other things, which is a great problem to have. No complaints there, but it's a little frustrating when it puts you that far behind. So let me see. Let's see. Easy, he said a few months, not minutes. Dynamat. Dynamat's a good idea. The Hobart 140. Yes, the Hobart 140 is the bomb. So if you're going to start off, and I have a Hobart 140 underneath this table. I've had it for almost 20 years. It's my favorite welder for doing thin metal. It'll go supposedly up to 1/4 inch. I never use it for 1/4 inch. 3/16, yeah, but 1/4 inch not so much. But for doing sheet metal, it's a perfect tool. I've got a really old video on my channel about how to weld sheet metal with that. But if you're going to be a machinist, you're probably looking more for a TIG machine. And my suspicion is you're going to look for a TIG machine that's AC/DC. And I say that because machinists work a lot in aluminum and stainless steel and other metals that you're not going to be able to really weld very well with a MIG welder. Yes, you can do them, but it's not ideal. The TIG welder is for sure the way to go. Aluminum, if you are going to weld with TIG or MIG, either way, requires a bunch of amperage. If you get anything below a 200 amp, to do aluminum, you're asking for trouble. 250 is probably where I would go if you can afford it. I don't have one. I've got a 200 amp, and I get disappointed sometimes in the aluminum stuff that I do. So let's see. Yes, good welder. Look for Jim, by far the best welder. Yeah, Jim welds on a lot of Matt's projects, and he is very good. I've seen the work he does. It always finishes out so much nicer than mine. I think we can all weld and grind and make things kind of smooth, but when people can do that super smooth mirror polish thing, it's like, holy cow. Jim is pretty amazing from what I've seen. But yeah, the Hobart 140, I would say, is a great, it plugs into 110, so it'll just plug right into the wall, and it's kind of, you know, somebody described it as the hot glue gun, right? You know, you just pull the trigger and it welds. I always recommend gas and, you know, C25 gas if you're doing mild steel. It makes the welding so much better. Everybody starts out with flux core wire because that's what comes with their machine, and it's a bit of a headache. It's tough. It splatters. It's thicker wire, so it wants to weld hotter and melt through, and it's a lot of frustration. I would say, you know, hop on Craigslist or hop on eBay, get a used Hobart or Miller. I like those two. You can get Lincolns. They're just fine. Those are just the ones I prefer. But get one with gas and just start right out of the box working with gas. I think you'll be a lot happier. So, yeah, if anybody has any questions, fire them up. If they don't have any questions, I'll sign off. I don't know how long I've been on here. I guess I need to look at this computer over here to see that. It seems to have all the magical stats and stuff. But 21 minutes, that's a long time. Sorry, guys. Anyway, I just wanted to hop on and say hi. Fred sent me, hey, say hi to Fred. I love Fred. We're actually working together on a couple little projects right now. So Fred's awesome. I love him. He does fantastic work. You want to talk about a craftsman. And I'm talking about his channel used to be Redneck DIY, and he just changed it to something with make in the title. You'll have to forgive me, but I think his YouTube is youtube.com Blazing Nail Gun. So if you want to check Freddie out, he's awesome. He does some fantastic work. But I am going to sign off for now. I want to say thanks to everybody in the chat for tuning in. Thanks for everybody out there in YouTube who's been along for the ride and hung out for the last year. So let's see. Did you do a video of that butcher block top? If not, no. I'm sorry. I haven't been filming any videos since I've been here because I need to work fast to get this place done. And doing the video slows me down. It takes me at least twice, maybe 3 times as long when I shoot a video. So anyhow, I will see everyone later, hopefully soon. What is it? Getting toward the end of August. I've been figuring mid-September is when I'm going to start cranking out a little bit more content. So we'll see you again maybe in about a month, hopefully, with some great stuff. I will see everybody later.